Hey y'all, it's Megan from Made for Mermaids, and we're doing a full sew through video on how to make this pleated Presley skirt. I'm going to quickly do the pleats in this video, but if you want an in-depth tutorial on how to do these, I will link that video down below. Once you have the skirt pieces marked, don't forget to mark your fold. You are going to fold the pleat by matching the first and third markings. The second will be on the fold, and then you flatten it out to create that knife pleat. Again, I'm just showing you quickly in this one how I'm doing it. That full in-depth video will be linked down below. You will pleat both your front and back skirts by pinning or clipping all of the pleats. There should be 8 pleats on the front skirt and 8 pleats on the back skirt. You do want to make sure that all your pleats are going the same direction on the front and back skirt. And once you have them all pinned or clipped, then take it to your ironing board and give it a nice press. I do like to use best press or some spray starch to help hold the pleats in place. You do want to make sure that when you're pressing it, you're using up and down motions with your iron and you're not pulling it so that you're not stretching out the waistline at all. Then you're going to take it to your machine and you are going to baste those pleats in place a scant ½ inch from that top edge. And then if you want your pleats to be permanent, then you will mark and measure as shown in the tutorial, and again that video down below, and stitch on each folded line of each pleat on the front and back skirt. And then they are completely pleated and ready to move on. If you're adding the inseam pockets, then you would add those now. And if not, you are going to put your front and back skirt together, aligning the top all the way down to the hem. And you should have a ½ inch on each side that was left over from the pleats, and that is where you will stitch the front and back skirts together with a ½ inch seam allowance. I do like to baste mine first, at least on the top where the pleat is, so I make sure that I'm getting exactly a ½ inch seam and they're not going to move around once I serge them. So after I quickly baste it together on each side, I will take it to my serger and sew them together with that ½ inch seam allowance. Then you can go ahead and set it aside. If you're adding the shorts, you will place your front and back shorty pieces right sides together, aligning the top and hem, and you're going to stitch them together on the side with a ½ inch seam allowance, and you will do the same thing with the other front and back pieces. Once the side seam is sewn, I like to take it to my iron and quickly press the bottom edge a ½ inch toward the wrong side to create a memory press on each leg. If you're adding the pockets on your shorties, you will press the top edge 3/8 towards the wrong side and then edge stitch it in place. Then press each side 3/8 toward the wrong side, and then you're going to center your pocket with the side seam of the shorties. Right sides of both should be up, and the bottom edge of the pocket should align with the bottom edge of the shorty. Then using a stretch stitch, I like a longer triple stitch, you will edge stitch on each of those folded edges of the pocket to hold in place. and then you can baste the bottom edges together. And you will repeat that whole process with the other pocket and the other shorties piece. Next, you will take that shorty leg and you will fold it in half with right sides together, aligning the inseam from the crotch to the hem, and you will stitch each leg together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then you are going to keep one leg inside out and flip the other leg right side out, and you will put this right side out leg inside of the wrong side out leg so that they are right sides together, and you will align the raw edges and that inseam, and you will stitch this crotch together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then go ahead and pull them right side out and repress the bottom memory press that we made on the leg, and you will edge stitch the hem with a 1/2 inch hem allowance. Then go ahead and repeat and hem the other leg. Once they're hemmed, you want to have your shorties and your skirt piece both right side out, and you will quarter the top, and then you're going to place your skirt over the shorties and align them at the waistline, matching those quarter points. Make sure if you're doing the adult version that your back skirt is facing the back shorties, because on the adult version the back skirt piece is a little bit longer to accommodate the booty. Once you have it pinned together, then go ahead and take it to your machine and baste the skirt to the shorties with a scant 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then for the rest of the tutorial, you will just treat this as one piece. You can go ahead and set the skirt aside while we work on our waistband. I'm doing the contour waistband in this tutorial, so you will place your two contour pieces right sides together, and you will stitch them on the sides with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then go ahead and fold that waistband in half in closing those edges. If you're doing the yoga band, then you just have one piece and you will fold it in half and stitch them together on the short ends, and then do the same thing if you're adding the enclosed elastic, and then fold the yoga band over the same. Once you have it folded, then you will go ahead and quarter the waistband, and once again quarter the waistline of your skirt. Then with right sides together, you're going to match the quarter points and raw edges of your band to your skirt waistline. You can add a back tag here if you want, especially on the adult where the back is longer, or if you did the contour band and it doesn't have a seam in the back like the yoga waistband. Once you have the quarter points matched, you will take it to your machine and you are going to stretch the waistband to fit that waistline and stitch them together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then go ahead and press that seam to your skirt and remove any basting seams that you might have. Just remember, if you don't remove those basting seams, it might pop a little the first time that you put it on. The last step is going to be hemming the skirt, so you will press that bottom edge of the skirt a 1/2 inch toward the wrong side, and then edge stitch the hem in place along the entire skirt. And then your Presley skirt or skort is complete. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below, And as always, if you make a Presley, we would love to see it posted in our Facebook group or tag us on Instagram at Made for Mermaids, hashtag Made for Mermaids Patterns, hashtag Presley Pattern.